On this episode of Bucks County Paranormal Investigations, the team investigates reports of Bigfoot in the New Jersey Pine Barrens. Eric Mintel and Dominic Sattele are joined by Bigfoot researchers Eric Spinner and Art Mack, and later by author, UFO researcher, and anthropologist the legendary Tom Carey. The team gets the surprise of their lives as they encounter Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens. My name is Eric Mintel. By night, I'm a professional jazz musician, but by even later at night, I investigate the paranormal. I, along with my team at Bucks County Paranormal Investigations, travel the country investigating all things paranormal. This is Bucks County Paranormal Investigations. Tonight, there's a real correlation to what we encountered in Wisconsin to what we're going to investigate tonight, which is Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens.
Yes. Well, yeah. Eric Spinner sent you some evidence that you shared with me of basically the same thing we experienced out in Wisconsin.
October 2nd, Dead Woman's Hollow. That was quite a greeting.
Which I could not believe, man. I was like, when I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute. And he got that the night before we got ours?
Oh, shit.
Fuck. And he was in Jersey and we're in Wisconsin?
That's crazy.
The whole connection there is amazing. I always thought that, people are seeing the Jersey Devil. I'm always thinking that maybe it was a misidentification of Bigfoot.
And it's a possibility, but then again, the Jersey Devil could be like the Beast of Bray Road.
True.
So I don't want to discount Jersey and offend anybody,
right? Saying
it's a Bigfoot and
there's
something else.
There's something there for sure. I mean, the Jersey Devil is supposed to be a winged, like horse-like creature. That's supposed to look similar to a horse, a winged horse.
Yep.
So there is all these different connections, and that's what we're doing. We're putting the puzzle pieces together.
Yep.
We arrived in Medford, New Jersey, and met up with Bigfoot researchers Eric Spinner and Art Mack. So Eric, I'm telling you, man, I am so glad to be here because I know we did that first investigation almost 2 years ago. So to be here and to be on site at this new location that's had a lot of activity.
And this will be my first time on an investigation like this. I mean, we just were out at the Beast of Bray Road in Wisconsin, so I'm used to animals, and I'm ready for this.
We've been talking about doing this for quite a while, so it's really exciting to have you both come out tonight.
Absolutely.
All right,
got
ready
it.
to go? We're going to make it happen.
Absolutely, man.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dom, change of plans.
Yeah, we're going over to a place called The Bowl. Apparently there's been a lot of activity and a junior Bigfoot, or...
Oh, yeah.
Or what did he call it?
A juvenile.
Juvenile
Bigfoot. A juvie.
Juvie.
He actually said that there was a woman down here that had, she was having a conversation with it.
Yeah, he was saying they were knocking rocks and knocking on wood.
And they were getting tree knocks back, and they were getting some kind of hollers back. So we're going to go down to this area now. The terrain is a little unforgiving, but it's not too bad. Obviously why they call it the bowl, because it's you're kind of going down, and it's like people are getting the sense of being watched. As we drove further and further into the Pine Barrens, a sense of extreme isolation hit us as we entered the area called the Bowl. We got out of the truck, walked about 500 feet into the woods, and set up base camp.
First thing we do is once we get established here, we just sit in quiet, let our eyes, let our ears acclimate to the ambient sounds.
So this is the bowl, as we like to call it. It's got some elevation on three sides, which gives them the height advantage. And we have found that to be, something that they will come over and usually mess around with us a little bit. When we get to a location, I typically like to open up my bags or take out any snacks we may be eating, okay? So one thing I brought along is an old thermal imager. It's actually an MSA unit firefighters used back in the day. And this sucker can get dropped from 9 feet, right, Art? And it can get actually wet, which is kind of cool.
Wow.
We don't have the recording capability with this, except for, if I turn it on, you'll see, we can actually record the screen. And Art actually outfitted it with some red film so that it wouldn't destroy our night vision. One thing Art and I like to do when we get to an area is we'll do either a couple of knocks to let them know we're here, and this is a Squatch stick that we picked up at the Ohio Bigfoot conference a few years ago. I also have a blast block, which is a percussion instrument, and a mallet. That's really easy to carry and very effective in making wood knock sounds. And I just, hold it up in the air and do bang, bang. And so that's another tool we use for making provocations. And lastly, I have the trail camera, which I'm going to go set up in a moment and put a few treats out and hopefully entice a Bigfoot to come up and grab them. Maybe we'll get a track impression out of it as well.
Eric outfitted a nearby tree with a trail camera in the hopes we get a picture of this elusive cryptid.
How long have you been doing this?
Actually squatching, I've probably been doing it about 12, 13 years, but I was doing some Jersey Devil research for a couple years before.
Is there a difference between Sasquatch and the Jersey Devil? Or are they the same thing? I know I'm gonna tick some Jerseyites off.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I said that to Eric on the way down here, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, he said that the Jersey Devil's kind of a winged, almost like a horse. But I've also heard the Jersey Devil's more like a dog.
Yes.
Smaller, not as big as a horse.
I was researching for the Jersey Devil, and problem I had with the Jersey Devil is there's no consistent description of what it is. I have read descriptions where it's a 3-foot tall turkey with reptile-like skin to a 12-foot tall human all covered in black hair. Honestly, I came to the conclusion because of some experiences I had, as well as comparing Jersey Devil sightings to Bigfoot sightings here in the Pine Barrens, and they're virtually identical. So I'm pretty much sure at this point, in my mind, that the Jersey Devil and Bigfoot are one and the same creature.
So here we are. Eric's pulled me out, gotten me into another predicament. It was a little rough getting in here, but we do have the radio. We got to get on the damn radio. And stars are wonderful. Got a half moon out here. We're ready to rock and roll and start looking for some prints.
Let's say there's a track here. I'm going to put on the light and I'll do it on an angle, horizontal, because that shows the shadows in the impression, okay?
Sure.
Like here's a boot imprint right here.
Yep.
This investigation of the Pine Barrens is unbelievable. I mean, first of all, it is dead quiet right now. Eric is giving us really great inside information on what his method is to look for these tracks. A lot of people don't know this information. The energy, you could feel an energy in the air tonight, so we're definitely going to be on high alert.
Sasquatch, UFOs.
Right.
Do you get a lot of that? Do you see a correlation possibly between them?
If you're asking me, do Bigfoots come out of flying saucers? I probably am not there. I don't believe that they do. I think that, like any creature in the woods,
It was at this point we had to cut Art's interview short. We all collectively heard a whoop coming from the woods. Eric's high-powered microphones picked it up.
Yep.
you hear that?
Yes.
Like any creature in the woods, they may.
Eric's wife, Heather, decided to answer back and was getting vocalizations. They were having a conversation.
You're 6 o'clock. All right.
Keep in mind we're 5 miles into the Pine Barrens. Okay.
That could potentially be what
Okay, so we're getting...
Patty was,
Sounded like a juvenile.
It's a gentle whoop. I don't know, Art, what do you think?
We definitely got some...
We weren't here.
So we just got some unbelievable activity right now. Dom was just talking to Art, and we heard a slight...
That was her.
Oh, that was Heather.
Calling it. That was Heather calling it. There was something behind us as well. We heard the juvenile over that way.
I think we got it on the lav.
Yes.
Eric's got a recording device going on too. this is an area that's had a lot of activity, and
it's definitely active.
there's something here. So Art, I mean, you heard it.
Yes.
We all heard it. Now that's something that you heard last year around this time?
Yes, around this time last year.
So I wonder if it's like a seasonal thing, maybe.
It's possible. We really don't know at this point. I mean, it's, the research is ongoing.
Yeah. I mean, that was incredible,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really cool.
I'm glad you guys heard it.
Me too. And the other thing is, here we are again. We start the investigation no sooner than we get here, and we're getting that activity. And it definitely sounded like it was moving away. Dominic continued to scan the area on thermal. But Art, incredible, man.
Yes,
really incredible.
Yes. You guys bringing us good luck?
Yeah, well, that's good, man. Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, this is good for us too, because it's like people like you. We're all connected with this because the paranormal is an incredible genre. Oh, here we go. Is that Eric?
I've got absolutely no clue.
Out of nowhere, Art's radio went haywire.
The radio is scanning channels.
Here we go.
And I've never seen this before. This is crazy.
Well, there you go.
Look at that.
Look at this.
Scanning channels.
Show them that what's going on there. That's weird. Now, you've never had that happen?
No, definitely not.
So Dom, here we go again with another electronic disturbance. And all of a sudden something happened electrically that he couldn't find us.
10 minutes into it, I was flying right over y'all, trying to get a little bit more of a shot, and boom, didn't know where I was.
Have you guys ever seen orbs or any kind of lights that are unexplained out here?
Lights, yes. In fact, there is a phenomenon that we have been seeing for a number of years. And basically, it's a pinpoint red light. I like to describe it as looking like the little power button on your cable box or something. If you're looking at it in your dark living room, that's what it looks like. And it moves through the trees, in and out of the trees and everything. And in fact, this location, we have seen that just last week.
Shanghai jazz has been a staple of gourmet cuisine and incredible live jazz for over 20 years. Owner Tom Donahoe has created an atmosphere where good food and good friends can gather for an unforgettable culinary and musical experience. And don't forget to check out the new Encore Lounge downstairs. Choose from a variety of drinks and wait for the show to begin. Shanghai Jazz, your destination for jazz. So, Art, now you're talking about the pinpoint of light, and that's what we saw in Wisconsin. And then, Eric, you had a similar.
That's what I was trying to tell you back at headquarters when we were listening to the howls we each recorded.
Yeah.
We hiked up the trail a little further, and this was a pretty steady elevation, okay? And some of the members of the team were not in shape, and they were, struggling a bit. So I said, hey, why don't we split up and do kind of like a Pied Piper thing where we leave half the team here, and I'll take a couple of members with me and continue on the trail. We got to this bend, and there was a branch, like a wide branch on the ground, fresh leaves and everything. And we walked past that branch, and it got 20 degrees colder. We could see our breath coming out of our mouths. The wind started whipping up. We could no longer hear the creek in the ravine below us. I looked at my watch as we were walking past that branch and up the trail, and I said, oh, it's already 1:40? I go, man, time flies when you're having fun, right? I radioed down, and I said to Patty to do a couple of whoops, loud ones. We couldn't hear her whoops, okay? I did a couple of wood knocks. They couldn't hear my wood knocks. Then I did a call, and my calls are fairly loud. They couldn't hear me, okay? It was crazy. So we're standing there, okay? And I looked to my left onto the trail to my left, and about 8 feet up in the air is a headlamp. Looking like 15 yards away, literally a headlamp. I had never seen a light as bright as this, and I thought, maybe there's a trail runner. You know how they have trail runners along the Appalachian, right?
Yeah.
I'm going like this to see if it's a star or if it's a plane coming towards me, you know what I mean? And literally, this was like in my face, 15 yards away, 8 feet up, and then it just dropped down like this. I was blown away.
Wow.
And I said to the other two guys, I said, did you see a light on the, and Tony said, I saw a flash.
So, You're seeing us right now in night vision, okay? This is like what, basically is, it's collecting a lot of the light. Anastasia has a light here. What she's gonna do is she's gonna take this off in night vision, she's gonna shut her light off, and that's what you're gonna see. So, and this is what we're seeing, nothing. Absolute pitch black.
And I'll tell you right now, Eric, I feel safer here than I did in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So we're down here, we're gonna try some tree knocking and hopefully we'll get something back. We keep hearing noises, we keep hearing calls. Every time Eric Spinner is talking, we always hear something. So we're gonna give it a try.
Looking for a vacation home? Look no further. Will Nicholson of Tomlinson Sotheby's has just what you're looking for. World-class entertainment at Schweitzer Mountain or water sports at Lake Pend Oreille, Idaho has it all. Fresh powder skiing, live music, multiple restaurants, and downhill biking in the summer. And, if you're lucky enough, you might spot Bigfoot. He loves it here. Give Will a call today.
So we're down here, we're gonna try some tree knocking and hopefully we'll get something back. We keep hearing noises, we keep hearing calls. Every time Eric Spinner is talking, we always hear something. So we're gonna give it a try. I just heard that.
It happens every time I talk. So every time I talked,
Let's hear it. A few more minutes went by and we heard no more whoops. So we decided to look for some trees so Eric could demonstrate for us his tree knocking technique. But suddenly we heard the sounds again.
this is crazy, man. This place has been very productive lately.
We're getting some activity now.
Good location right now.
We couldn't have planned this like that.
No.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we try.
Exactly.
There you go.
We try.
Do you get any kind of a mist before you hear a Bigfoot? Or do you see any mist?
I can't say for sure that I have ever experienced that. When I do a wood knock, I like to use the backhanded technique. You see a lot of these people on TV going like this, okay? I feel like you get more force if you do it backhanded, so I'll demonstrate real quick. Oh, and after I do a knock, it's important just to kind of not shuffle your feet, be quiet, and just listen for a moment, okay? For a response.
Before Eric did another tree knock, we all heard another whoop. Let's give it another knock.
Okay.
Geese.
Okay.
That sounded more like a whoop.
Okay.
That sounded more like a whoop.
That was not a goose.
Oh! Oh!
Did you hear that?
Did you hear that? It sounded like the water. Suddenly, a distinct howl was heard in the distance. After he did that knock, there was like a longer...
That was a longer, softer howl.
Did you hear that?
I heard it, definitely.
Yeah, there's something going on behind us.
I keep looking, I keep seeing behind you, there's a light that's flashing in the trees, and I can't figure out if it's a star or if it's something else, but I keep seeing a light flash.
Well, Art just said we were talking about the pinpoints of light.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
When they were here on the expedition and Nate and Jacob were coming back to rejoin the women, as they were about to get to that turn, Nate saw some red eye glow right at the corner. And so,
Now, Art, is your like when you're hitting the tree, is your technique different than Eric's? Like,
Not really.
okay, so
No,
it's pretty much the
basically
same.
it's the same thing. It's a backhand And the thing that I like the backhand for is because you can actually break your, your wrist, you can flex your wrist and absorb some of the impact as you're hitting the tree.
Art showed us his technique. And you could always, look up Eric's website too. What is the website again for the folks so we can tell them?
Well, the one that I'm speaking about there is the BFRO.net, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, but Art and I have NASBRO.net and North American Sasquatch Bigfoot Researchers Organization, which you can on Facebook, and you can link up there.
Incredible evidence. These guys are out in the field all the time, and it's great to know that we've got local researchers right here in New Jersey that are really putting the work in to get some of this evidence that you're seeing and that you're hearing. So I'll tell you what, guys, let's go back up to base camp. Let's get the hell out of here. I know this was this investigation and follow-up was incredible. I mean, like, no sooner did we get here, we got whoops in this area over here. We all heard it. And Eric, I mean, your techniques and your research and how you and Art are going about researching this, I'll tell you, man, it's incredible. I really want to thank you guys tonight, and thank you so much, Anastasia, for handling the camera. Art, thank you so much for all your testimonies, and Dom, another one, man, unbelievable. Heather, the lighting, thank you so much. Definitely a correlation and a connection to what we experienced in Wisconsin, for sure.
Most definitely.
And it's great to have Eric and Art, who are incredible investigators, and I mean, they're bringing all this evidence to light.
And you know what the nice thing is that they know what they're looking for.
Right.
They know the sounds.
Well, let's get back to the office. Let's get this footage downloaded. I gotta see what's on there, man. We gotta hear what we just heard. So there's something in this area, and it's here. It's definitely here.
I don't want to meet it face to face, but
no,
it would be fun.
Well, let's get out of here. Let's get back to Bucks County. Back in Bucks County, and still trying to wrap our heads around what we encountered the previous night, we met with the legendary Tom Carey. Well, what happened to us last night was absolutely incredible. So what we're doing right now is we are meeting with the one and only Tom Carey. And Tom is going to tell us what could possibly be what we maybe encountered. So Tom, so good to see you, man.
Nice to be with you, Eric.
You are, everybody knows you as like you're the authority on Roswell, but I didn't know that you had a doctorate in anthropology.
Well, I have a master's degree in anthropology, and I spent 4 years at the University of Toronto in pursuit of a doctorate. And I'm in a category of what they call ABD, all but your dissertation.
Okay. We were there because there was a report of Bigfoot in the Pine Barrens. There's been a lot of evidence. There's been footprints. There's been hair samples. There's been hollers, whoops and hollers. I know, we talk about it, and sometimes we joke about it and say, hey, we see those programs where they're whooping and hollering, but I'll be damned if we didn't hear that last night.
6 o'clock. All right.
And we have no idea what that could have been. But you have information on that, and you even have some documentation on this as well.
Yes, I conducted a study recently of what it possibly could be, because on television you see these shows, it's Gigantopithecus, which is turns out to have been a cousin of the orangutan.
So Tom, if it's not Gigantopithecus, what do you think it could be?
In my humble opinion, it's the living representative of what they used to call, well, they still call it, but it's extinct, Paranthropus robustus. That's from South Africa, and its cousin Paranthropus boisei is from East Africa.
You also are saying you have evidence from the Patterson-Gimlin film?
The Patterson-Gimlin film from Red Bluff, California, 1967. It shows a gorilla-looking animal walking away from the camera, turns around and looks at the camera and walks away. Now, it's not a gorilla, it's not a chimpanzee, and it's not an orangutan because it's perfectly bipedal. So it extrapolates out to about 8 feet tall. But notice what's crucial here is this little thing on the top of the head. That's a sagittal crest. Bigfoot is reported to have this conical shaped head, and that's because the masseter muscles here, they go all the way up and they anchor to this sagittal crest, and that's what gives it this conical shaped head. And that's why I believe the Patterson-Gimlin film shows is this creature. It's like Paranthropus robustus with a sagittal shaped crest. And does that look like the Patterson-Gimlin film? It sure does.
You know, Tom, I mean, this for us, I got to tell you, is invaluable for our research and for what we just went through. Because, I mean, we're still trying to wrap our heads around what we actually heard. Now, we didn't see anything, but we heard it, and we have it on audio. We're still shaken up by it.
That's why I didn't join you.
Tom showed us more examples, and we were convinced this is the creature we were looking for. The other thing about the Bigfoot UFO connection, yeah, we've heard a lot about it. Could possibly be there a connection that you're looking at Bigfoot from the past, but
Yes.
it's actually from our future.
Time travelers. Let me tell you this, as far as Roswell is concerned, often we were asked, where do they come from? Two of the witnesses, part of the analytical team, one was a German, his name was Ernst Steinhoff. He's in the Hall of Fame in New Mexico rocketry. And the other was a Navy commander, believe it or not, was part of Werner von Braun's team analyzing the Roswell wreckage and bodies. The first fellow, Ernst Steinhoff, I got this through his son, he said Roswell was not extraterrestrial, it was extra-temporal. The other fellow, his name was George Hoover, was interviewed by Bill Burns, believe it or not. We got the story from Bill Burns. Well, George Hoover was the father of our satellite technology program, okay? Wow. Way up there, a Navy guy, and he was part of the analytical team. He says, Roswell was a case of visitors from somewhere else.
Wow.
That Roswell was not extraterrestrial, it was extra-dimensional.
Wow.
And further than that, they were time travelers. And they were us from the future.
Well, I got to tell you, Tom, again, I mean, my mind is blown. I know we went through a lot of information here, and it really is a lot to think about, because I don't think a lot of people would even think or even venture into that area. So, Tom, again, thank you so much, man. I mean, this has been phenomenal. I mean, you are not only, like I said, people know you as the authority of Roswell. I mean, you've written tons of books on it. And people, if you haven't gotten a chance to read those books, read them. They are fascinating. And now we've got more information to even like delve into with this and to try to figure out what we saw and what we actually heard last night. So thank you again, man. This has been phenomenal.
My pleasure.
Extra-temporal, extra-dimensional?
Dude, I've never heard that before. That, and coming from him, I believe it.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that was mind-blowing right there. I mean, Tom is on the same page with us then.
Well, you know, and even he said that it's not aliens.
Right.
It's humans from a different time.
They were time travelers.
Yeah. Now we have to go back to Bill Burns and talk to Bill, because he knows about this.
We need to talk to Bill. We need to talk to Eric Spinner and fill him in on all the stuff that's going on too. Because I mean, if it wasn't for Eric, for us to get down there, we wouldn't even know anything about what we heard that last night.
Hell yeah.
So we got a lot more work to do. This isn't over, man.
Wow.
So good one, brother. Thank you, buddy.
Onward, upward.
You're not kidding.